I'm working on a new garden area. I'm going to call it Grammie's Garden. It's a tribute to my mom's favorite plants. I'm going to have all of her favorite plants in it. And I wanted to make a unique wind chime for that garden area. She loved wind chimes. She had all kinds of wind chimes around the house. And so I was searching for an idea to make a wind chime because I wanted to make something. And I had been collecting hip flasks for several years, and not collecting them because I wanted a collection of hip flasks, but because I make diddly bows out of my hip flasks. Diddly bow is a one-string guitar. And I thought, why can't I use a hip flask to make a wind chime? If I can find different size hip flasks, they'll make different tones, and it'll be really interesting. They're cheap. My gosh, I got this one at the Goodwill for $1.99. And it makes a nice tone. If you have two hip flasks that are roughly the same size, see, this one's just a smidge bigger. So I played this one for you. Versus a little bit different tone. I found this one for $3.99 at the Goodwill. Different tone. I found this gigantic one. This is a 64-ounce flask. I think I got this one for $4 at the Goodwill. And I thought that would make a really nice sounding wind chime if I can find different flasks at different sizes and somehow suspend them, mount them somehow. I don't know exactly how I'm going to do it yet. I'm working on it. I came across this. Now this is a metal that's actually hung on a wall. I don't know why you would hang this on the wall. I have found many of these, and I made a sculpture out of 5 of them, and a giant allium sculpture, and it is really kind of neat. I found this at the Goodwill. It was $3.99, and as I was walking around, I'm listening to the music playing overhead. I'm kind of plucking on these little spikes, right? This is metal. And I know you can't hear this, but these spikes are a little bit different size, so they have a little bit different tone. And I thought, this would be really kind of an interesting thing to add to my wind chime that I'm going to make. Now, here's my concept, here's my thought. On a wind chime, you have the different pipes. It's usually a pipe that's hanging down, right? And then you have something that is striking the pipes. So I was thinking, why can't I use this suspended somehow and striking the pipes? There's different tones from this, from one sounding device. So if I have, let's say, 5 or 6 of these of different sizes for different tones, and then this thing is bouncing around between them, I could get a whole symphony of sound out of these different things. So that's my idea for a wind chime for Grammie's Garden. So I'm playing with this idea. It's going to take me a while to put it all together, but I think it's going to be a really interesting way of, number one, making wind chime, but number two, I went searching for ways that you can upcycle, that you can reuse, that you can repurpose a hip flask. And by golly, there's almost nothing on the internet about how to reuse these things, right? These are invented simply as a way to store your booze, to carry your booze on you, put it in your coat pocket, put it in your hip pocket. But there's almost nothing on the internet about other ways you can use these things. And I have found 2, right? I've made my diddly bows out of them, and they make an absolutely wonderful sounding board for my diddly bows. But I'm going to make a wind chime. We're going to see where this goes. Stay tuned.